Joe Biden's re-election run could be stumbling into more embarrassment this campaign season, and there's no sandbags around that he can blame this time. Team Biden is worried that the president could lose the first two contests of the primary season to a challenger like RFK Jr. It's thanks to the Democrats' strategy of ignoring all states that put their primaries ahead of South Carolina. A win could give RFK Jr. major momentum as Democrats search for an alternative candidate that isn't scared to go on the campaign trail or that can actually function.
We've mobilized the world's leading emitters to help poor countries deal with the impacts of climate change. They called it at the G7 the Build Back Biden, Build Back Better, and we realized that got confusing. So now we don't call it that. We have plans to build a railroad from the Pacific all the way across the Indian Ocean. We have plans to build in Angola, one of the largest solar plants in the world. I can go on, but I'm not. I'm going off script. I'm going to get in trouble.
That is off the script. And to make matters worse, a focus group of North Carolina swing voters says that they're concerned by Biden's age. But whatever you do, don't bother Nancy Pelosi about it.
Do you think that President Biden's age has finally caught up to him at all?
Absolutely not. I think the president is great. I'm proud to be supporting him, and I don't even know why you asked that question.
Do you think he has the stamina to finish a second term if he were?
Yes, I do, and please don't bother me with such frivolity, okay?
Like ice cream. All right, Biden is hosting a movie night, speaking of frivolity, at the White House for a flick about the dude who claims to have invented Flaming Hot Cheetos. You know, Dana, Flaming Hot Cheetos, that's exactly how Hunter describes what it's like to pee to his doctor.
It hurts.
Yes.
It hurts.
Yes.
John, that was a good one.
Thank
I thought
you.
it was the name of your band in high school.
Oh, no, that was phallic death. But
Wow.
isn't the strategy here, there's a lot of jockeying going around for Biden's replacement.
Yeah.
You know, to get that feeling, and there was the Vanity Fair piece on, what's her name? Gretchen Whitmer. Thank you. Yeah.
Written by not just written by a reporter, but written by a very well-respected, credible Democratic strategist who's had a lot of time in the White House, who worked for Obama. So that was interesting. Now, she might truly believe it, or she might be trying to stir the pot, or she just got the assignment and said, let me just tell you what, and call it like I see it. I do think that Nancy Pelosi's answer about frivolity, it's a good way to shut somebody down. I could imagine somebody like Trump giving an answer like that, like, don't ever bother with me with that again. And Hillary, to her credit, never stops. But Joe Biden just said in that speech, we are going to build a train from the Pacific across the Indian Ocean.
Yes.
And she thinks that's frivolous as a question. I mean, the answers are right there for themselves. I do think the Democrats are going to write off Iowa and New Hampshire as fakes. They're going to say it doesn't matter because they have the DNC. This is usually what happens when you have an incumbent president. They don't debate. They just go straight to the convention without having to stop and pay the $200.
There you go. Emily, great to see you. You know, in Joe's defense, the less you know of another candidate, the better, right? It's like most popular candidates generally is the generic one. But the problem is RFK Jr. is quite charming and persuasive. What say you?
Well, I agree with what Dana just said about the fact that that response sort of shoots it down. But that's what this White House is so good at, and what the media is so good at, which is essentially being dismissive. Right? They love to diminish. They love to dismiss the questions, and therefore, by inference, you're dismissing the person asking the question. Why shouldn't we ask about his age and his competence, given the clear other planet that he's living on? So the age is frivolous for asking about it. And RFK Jr., he's called fringe, right? Newsweek published an op-ed that said were it not for his illustrious name, he'd be just another crackpot in the growing list of bottom-feeding right-wing fringe politicians. Esquire published one that said, oh, anyone else that goes against an incumbent president with 20%, that's cannon fodder. But they're dismissing the question, which is people saying, we are not satisfied in the Democrat Party with who is in office. Please, God, anyone but Biden or Kamala. So no wonder they're polling high and percentages are high. And when you talk about the frivolity of Cheetos, we call it frivolity, but the White House is calling it campaigning. There is a reason why 37% of Latino voters feel that Biden and the Democrats don't care about the Latino community. It's because they are checking boxes. We're going to show this movie. We're going to compare them to breakfast tacos. We're going to pay 7 figures to air bilingual commercials and call that a campaign. We're going to play Despacito and think that that is a connective tissue with actual Latino Americans. And there's a reason why the same amount, 37%, believe that the GOP cares a great deal. And it's because we care about all Americans, right? We care about the economy and border security and law and order and education and freedom to worship. And maybe a country that doesn't identify them as a prop to get their political virtue signal on. So I think this is sometimes laughable at a minimum, but at maximum, it's horribly, patently offensive.
Jesse, people often call you a flamin' hot Cheeto. RFK feels like they're going to treat him like Bernie Sanders, right? He's going to be what the people like, but not what the elites want. So they're going to try to push him out, even though, again, he's clearly a better persuader who's up on the issues, unlike Joe, who's a doddering fool.
I unceremoniously disinvited RFK Jr. from prime time.
Really?
And now RFK Jr. wants to come on.
Oh.
It's like women, when you ignore them, then all of a sudden they're into you. So tonight,
no one ever. Okay, go ahead.
So tonight we will put it up to a poll whether or not I should reconsider my disinvitation and have him on. Joe Biden's a lazy bully. Are you upset that you might lose Iowa, Joe? Are you upset you might be embarrassed in New Hampshire? Oh, are there too many white people in Iowa and New Hampshire? Well, didn't Barack Obama win Iowa? Barack's black, and then he won New Hampshire the second time. So Joe has to rig his own primary to save face? That's like, how many times has he run for president? This is the fourth time. The minute he gets power, he rigs. This is like being a triathlete, never winning. You finally win, and you guys are like, you know what, we're going to reverse the order. We're going to run first, then swim, and finish with cycling. You can't do that. Everybody knows it's Bush League. So think about the precedent this sets, though. Every president, once they win, they're just going to pick a state, whatever they did best in, and then go there first. Every president from now on is going to raid their opponent's house and have them arrested. Every president from now on is not going to do the Fox News Super Bowl interview. These are terrible precedents that cannot stand, and he's gotten special treatment up to this point by the FBI, the Democrats, and the press. But now I'm glad New Hampshire and Iowa, they're not going to get bullied, and they're going to put it on, and RFK is going to probably win both because no one wants to write in Joe Biden, and it's going to catch some momentum, and it's going to be humiliating, and he deserves the humiliation.
There you go. Well put. Jessica, really important question. How much money do you think it's going to cost me from Uber since my dog had explosive diarrhea in the backseat?
I'm going to try to connect that.
Yes.
It was a pet Uber, though.
Yeah.
They are, I think, more prepared for that. If you think that that's eating my talk time, though, it's not.
That's my new strategy.
That Gus is sick, though.
Yeah.
And would also like to highlight, as we know, that Pete Buttigieg won Iowa last time, which was a complete debacle to the point that the head of the Democratic Party in Iowa had to step down from that and basically agreed with the fact that they shouldn't go first there. And then he lost New Hampshire, where Bernie Sanders won and Pete Buttigieg came in second. So the humiliation has already happened, and then he already won. That's the thing. Everyone lays out all these things. Oh, Joe's, polling so badly. Kamala's this or whatever, and they keep winning. So take that into account with this. On the RFK front, I have still yet to meet a real live Democrat that likes RFK. We enjoyed the piece on Cheryl Hines that came out in the New York Times on Friday. I thought that was interesting, and to hear about how she's kind of been thrust into this political world that she was never part of, and how she's using her improv skills from having been part of the Groundlings to kind of get through this. But she has tremendous problems with her own husband's policies, mostly his anti-vax policies.
Wow, way to throw the spouse under the bus.
She threw him first. I'm just telling the people, in case you haven't read the article, which I'd recommend everyone does.
I did read it.
So, okay. Anyway, he didn't. I sent it to him, and I think he thumbs down.
I read that in an interesting article about Willie Brown.
RFK is still the guy who was originally boosted by Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon does not want what's best for the Democratic Party. He also doesn't want what's best for the country. I know there are people on the right who might say that that's wrong, but I'm telling you that that's certainly how we feel here. And when you say that his positions are really interesting, last week he came on with Neil Cavuto, And he said, we killed 350,000 Ukrainian kids for a sham. Something like that. They are going and fighting, believing that they're fighting for their nation. Thank God Neil fact-checked him and said, no, it's actually the Russians that are killing the Ukrainians. His position on that war is more than fringe. It's more than cuckoo. It is so out of step with what's going on. The reality.
His son is fighting in that war against the Russians.
Does that make what he said accurate?
No, it makes his
It makes
voice
him even
worth
more
listening
insane, in fact.
I think you just don't like it because he's anti-war.
No,
You are
I would
a
love it if we could have
pro-war
peace.
person. That's why you're wearing red.
What?
Yeah, just say yeah.
RFK is not.
I guess I take issue with you saying you haven't met a Democrat who supports RFK. I have.
Where are you hanging out? In Republican bars?
Yes, I know. I find them everywhere.
Actually, Jessica, then that sort of raises the question more. If that's true, like let's take that as true, then it's even more insane that such a high percentage of Democrats are actually voting for him. It shows Biden's lack of.
First of all, in the poll where his favorability in the Quinnipiac poll is higher than Biden's, he has 43% who say they don't know. They don't have an opinion of the guy. He has not been mainstreamed whatsoever. And I think everyone should be heard. But to take it as gospel that this guy is really permeating the Democratic base is a complete fallacy.
Let's just let it be noted that you did not answer the first question.
I'm sorry that Gus is sick, and it will be $100 to $200.
It's $500? Okay.
I'm going to say $500.
All right. Well, thank you, Jessica, for offering to pay. All right.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.